NXT took place tonight in Orlando, Florida, from the WWE Performance Center. The big news to start the show off was the fact that Corey Graves is back on commentary in NXT. I didn't get a chance to comment on this yet, but it was a big news story last week as Corey Graves sent out a few tweets about his role in the WWE and how he felt he was being demoted. I don't necessarily believe he said that, but that's what he was implying. The fact was he was on SmackDown, and then he was sent to NXT, and the reason he gave was that he was not famous enough. That's what they told him. And you have Joe Tessitore on SmackDown, you have Pat McAfee on Raw. Corey Graves just isn't a crossover star like that, so that's why he was. However, tonight, after essentially walking out of the company, he went on a plane last week from Orlando to Pittsburgh in his home, but he's back this week, and no storyline, this was real. They got him back. Triple H was able to smooch things over. He's back in NXT, and I'm happy to see him back because he's been a good commentator. He's been with the company several years, and Joe Tessitore or Pat McAfee isn't going to be here next several years. It's more than likely Graves will be sent back up to either Raw or SmackDown within the next couple of years. I think that's more likely. And I like seeing him back in NXT. Although I do have to say I'm not a big fan of the three-man announce booth. So, the show starts off with Bayley arriving. She's now appeared on 6 consecutive shows. You had SmackDown 2 weeks ago. Then you had the following Raw when she appeared in San Jose. Then she appeared on NXT last week when she brawled with Roxanne Perez. Then she was on SmackDown when she lost to Tiffany Stratton. Then last night on Raw when she got jobbed out for the 100th time to Nia Jax. So she's on this show, and I thought this was her best appearance, by the way. Anyway, we have Tony D'Angelo and Rich Hollins for the NXT North American Championship. You had Sean Spears interfering with his group. But then the big surprise was Izzy Dame coming out and punching Rich Holland in the face. I think everyone wants to punch Rich Holland in the face in NXT. D'Angelo hit the spine buster and he won the match. Izzy Dame basically told Tony D'Angelo, now we're even. The family looked on confused. Maybe this leads to tension with him and Adriana Rizzo. But it was a good segment, I thought. Now we go backstage. We see some people fighting, and it's Trick Williams. And when he walks in, Wesley trash talks him. Trick basically bitch slaps Wesley. I think we all want to bitch slap Wesley. Just like everyone wants to punch Rich Holland and Wesley, the two worst people on the show. But that was funny. Then we have Bayley going to the ring, and she comes out, and the fans just love Bayley in WWE Performance Center. They chant "Welcome Home" to Bayley, and this technically is her home because she trained at the Performance Center, but the fans never saw her at the Performance Center. She always performed at Full Sail University. I do miss Full Sail. I would love to see a reunion show in Full Sail. That would be awesome, although I think that's highly unlikely. But the fans love her. Then she talked what happened last week with Roxanne Perez, and you expect Roxanne's going to interrupt her. No, Julia interrupts her. Julia comes out and says she looked up to Bayley, and when she was in Japan, she always wanted to be like Bayley. Don't necessarily believe that, but I like Julia. I thought she just came off too goody two shoes, too much of a clean-cut baby face that she worships Bayley. She's the champ, man. I think it would be better if a younger up-and-coming star talked to Bayley this way. I thought Julia just came off a little bit too. I don't want to say it was too condescending in a way, a little bit. So I kind of felt like that, but Bayley really puts over the belt and how she's talking with the lineage of the NXT Women's title. She was the 4th NXT Women's Champion. Then you have Roxanne Perez interrupts them, and she's, of course, with Cora Jade, her best friend, all in leather. And all 4 of them are in leather. I'm not complaining. I do like leather on women, but you have Bayley in leather, you have Julia in leather, then you have Roxanne Perez in leather, and you have Cora Jade in leather. So they always had a leather strap match. But Roxanne's with Cora, and my God, the fans usually kind of like Roxanne. She sometimes gets a mixed reaction, even though she's a heel, but they just hate her. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I can't believe the heat they're getting. They hate Roxanne. They hate Cora. When Cora talked, she got even more heat than Roxanne. But then when Roxanne talked again, she got even more heat than Cora. They are getting Hulk Hogan heat. I was going to think Dominic Mysterio at first, but no, it makes more sense for it to be Hulk Hogan heat. The amount of boos they're getting in the crowd was kind of funny. Roxanne talks about how the current era has surpassed the 4 Horsewoman era in WWE NXT. And then eventually this leads to just a crazy brawl. It goes on for a while. They brawl, and once they're fighting, they're separated multiple times, and they keep fighting in the ring. However, and it goes on for a while as they continue to fight. Eventually, as I said, they were separated, but little did we know, the people watching on TV, that they continued to fight in the ring. So we go backstage and we see Jada Parker. She's really happy that Billy mentioned her name. Then you have Kalani Jordan. She comes out, who was also there, and she says that her name was mentioned first by Bayley. And in the background are Sol Ruka, Zahara, and Carmen Petrovich. And Carmen comes up, and then she brings up her stupid storyline and how she has love, and Jada mocks her, which I thought was funny. I love seeing Jada just completely belittle their stupid garbage storyline that's shoved down our throats every week. Then they go at it, and it sets up a match later night between Jada and Carmen. And you also had women in the background who I don't think they're really doing much with. What are they doing with Zahara? Or Zaria, however you pronounce her name. I mean, they made her look like such a killer. Now she's just an ordinary woman. I almost thought, why is her character so exposed backstage? Sol Ruka I like a lot. I think she has a lot of potential. She's very athletic, kind of like Kalani Jordan. I really liked their match they had last year, but they're doing stuff with Kalani. They're doing nothing with Sol Ruka. So I was watching, and some of these women are just in the background. We'll see if they do more with them, but Jada Parker is one who I really think is a star. So then we go backstage to ringside, and we see the 4 are still brawling. And these 4 women, who are all under 120 pounds. I mean, Roxanne Perez is not even 100 pounds, probably. They're all these grown-ass men, these big security guards, can't stop them. They keep going at it, but you know what? It was still awesome. The crowd is just crazy here. They hate Roxanne and Cora so much, and they kind of like them at first. But the crowd is just nuts. Eventually, Cora and Roxanne break away. They go backstage, and as you see them backstage, they're complaining to Ava. But then Bayley and Julia come back, and they're going at it again until they're separated backstage. And then we see someone walking down backstage to make his entrance, and that's Dion Lennox, who's ready for his match with Wes Lee. So eventually, we have that match, and Wesley just won too easily. Dion Lennox, I think, has so much more potential because he's so much bigger. As Wesley, I don't see him doing anything on the main roster. I don't see it. It's just not big. I don't really see much in him. I kind of wish he was still in that tag team with MSK. I think they actually could do better as a team. I don't see him doing much on the main roster, but he will do more in NXT. Dion Lennox, I think, has potential. We go to Alexis King video package. Actually, I should have mentioned Wesley after the match. He calls out Trick Williams. They come out and they brawl after it. And Trick was all over the show. He got into like 3 different fights. It was kind of funny. You have Alexis King video package, and he's basically being presented as a babyface, but you can tell he's still kind of a heel, almost a tweener type. So we have Sarah Screamer backstage. She interviews Stephanie Vaquer, and she mentions what happened last week with Fallon Henley. And I have to say, Stephanie's English is improving, but it's not where it needs to be. Julie, I think, is ahead of her on this. I think Stephanie can still improve, but her English was a little bit hard to get through. We get to a Heritage Cup Championship. You have Lexis King against Charlotte Dempsey. So Lexis, I thought for sure would win. I think really a chance Dempsey would win. I just felt like this match, to me, I don't like the concept. I hate the Heritage Cup. I wish they'd get rid of it. There's no need to have it. You have so many mid-card titles. I hate the Heritage Cup. I hate the 3 rounds like it's a boxing match. It just doesn't, I don't get into it. I don't like it. I didn't like it at any point. You have a lot of different heritages, and you have a lot of different nationalities and ethnicities in WWE, but you don't need the stupid Heritage Cup. But Lexis wins. He wins after he hits a low blow, and he's still a heel. have to say, he has the body type. I just couldn't get this out of my head. Had to mention this, of a modern day Chris Jericho, and that's not something you want to be compared to. Now, being compared to Chris Jericho is great. That means he's going to be a big star in the main roster. Chris Jericho today, not so much. You have Bianca Belair and Naomi cut a promo on Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, who they're going to face next week for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. You have Carmen Petrovic. She makes her entrance with Shanti. I hate this stupid storyline. Kalani Jordan would play a role here. So we see her backstage, and I thought, she might join Chase U. There's something going on here. They're going to bring back Chase U. Is she going to have a role? The reason I mention this is we see Kalani leaving a room backstage, and she's looking at Mr. Chase, who's talking to his former tag team, who's part of Chase U. And we follow Chase, and he walks past a bunch of wrestlers in the lounge, and they're watching former Chase U highlights. It makes you think they're eventually going to do a Chase U reunion. I think it's too early now, but they're going to come to that. And they put the heat on Rich Holland for breaking up Chase U, but the fans turned on Chase U before that. I like that they're doing this. It's going to be a big pop when they do it. I just want to know, what are they doing with Thea Hale? I mean, we never see her anymore. Why don't we ever see Thea Hale anymore? Anyway, Jada Parker's out next, and I just think, wow, when I look at her, she just has so much potential. You have Corey Graves. You mentioned how big of a fan Carmella is of Jada Parker. I think we all are. So, Jada had the interaction with Karen Petrovic, but before that, she had the interaction with Kalani Jordan, who's basically a heel now, and this is how this match ends. Kalani comes out and she distracts Jada. Karen Petrovic then rolls up Jada Parker. I just shook my head and I thought, Carmen's going to be nothing on the main roster. She has nothing to her. I don't see much. I hate this. Maybe I'm just down on her because of this fucking storyline with Ashanti, who I don't like. I want the storyline to end. And once you had her beat Jada, I thought, this doesn't feel right. Anyway, it sets up Jada Parker and Kalani Jordan. Who both, I know the company has high plans for. They're going to have a feud in NXT. That's something to look forward to. We had Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson backstage. They were with Sol Ruka and Zahara. I don't know why Sol Ruka has much more to do, but we have a whole bunch of ladies backstage there as well. I think I saw Gigi Dolan there as well, and who's also doing nothing. And they're just talking about their match next week with Bianca and Naomi. You have Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance. They crushed the family in a tag team match, and they made them look like complete jobbers. I think they like Adriana Rizzo. They're probably going to push her, but the other two, who are with Tony D'Angelo, man, it feels like that they have no chance. I mean, they're not going to do much on anything that works the main roster or NXT for a while. You have Sarah Scriber interviewing Fraxium. Then you have two guys randomly interrupt him, and there's another brawl. I have to say, the first half hour was great. Second half hour was still very good. It was entertaining. The third half hour fucking sucked. Just so much garbage. So many job guys who are doing nothing. This was the worst part of the show tonight. But I still liked it overall, but this was the weakest part, the third quarter. You have another brawl with Shaky Cam, and it just felt like they're killing time before the main event. You have Dion Lennox slipping out backstage. Then you have Tony D'Angelo talking to Izzy Dame. He talks to the family, who are expecting him to come out during their match. He says he can't babysit. They're basically teasing a split. I think the family, they're just not doing much with them. I haven't cared about the family in a while. What they were most interesting was when they would do the thing where they would sort of be a mafia type of family when they would kill people. They did insinuate they kill people. I found that entertaining. I didn't know if it'd work on the main roster, but I found that entertaining for NXT. I just haven't found them interesting in months. So you have focus on Ethan Page. You had Ava Rain talking to Java Evans backstage, and he's just mumbling. It's kind of funny in a way. It's supposed to be sympathy, but you just hear him talking with his broken jaw. I found it actually very entertaining in a negative way. mean, I'm not supposed to be laughing, but I thought it was funny. Then you had Austin Theory and Grayson Waller in NXT. They're talking to Asia, and Theory casually references that he likes Ava more than The Rock. So we kind of brought up that interaction out of The Rock on SmackDown in October of 2023. That was kind of funny. I hope they're not doing anything else with Austin Theory and The Rock, but he did bring that up. Then they're going to be in Atlanta next week, so that's why they're there, and they're going to do a special Waller talk show, whatever it's called, the Waller Effect. I don't remember what it's called, and they're going to have the winner of Obafemi and Eddie Thorpe on their show. So next week they preview the show, and I have to say it's stacked. You have a big women's tag team match, which is Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade against Bayley and Julia. That's a big match. They also have another NXT North American Women's match with Fallon Henley defending against. She's defending the NXT North American Women's Championship against Shotzi. And you also have other matches they announced that are going to be on the show. It's a stacked show. And you might get a surprise or two. Usually you get that with NXT shows. We're in Atlanta. It's going to be a big show next week. And I like how they're doing this balance where every few weeks or so they'll leave the Performance Center, but the Performance Center is still their base. So they don't have to have NXT on the road every week. I think that would be a mistake. I think that would hurt NXT. And I think NXT risks being overexposed, people losing interest because they're not going to get that loyal fans. Once they leave once a month or once every 4 or 5 weeks on special occasions, they'll get more interest. I like this balance with NXT. And I also like that they're doing the PLEs. They're keeping that schedule. And I don't think like you need to have special NXT the same time you have a PLE. So it's being spread out well. After this show next week, I think they'll more so start to focus on Vengeance Day more, which is on February 15th, I believe. Anyway, you have main event, Obafemi and Eddie Thorpe. I mean, who's going to win? Of course, Obafemi wins. After the match was more interesting, you had A-Town Down Under standing on a podium, and they're going back and forth with Oba. Oba seems to be upset. He's going to be on their show next week. I hope it doesn't lead to like Austin Theory and Obafemi, which I'm afraid we're going to get. I hope that's not the main event of Vengeance Day. Probably not, but I think there's a chance of it. Then he had Trick Williams appear. He stares him down, which that's obviously going to be the next feud. And then you had Eddie Thorpe getting up ready to attack Trick Williams, and then Trick just lays him out with the knee and makes Eddie Thorpe look like a complete clown. Trick Williams stands tall. He stares down the man who took his title, Obafemi, and that will be a next big opponent for Obafemi. So that's how NXT ended. It was a good show. The main event was fine. I mean, we all know who would win, but it was a decent main event. The show I thought started off super entertaining. It's just there was that portion before the main event where I felt like they were just killing time. But once again, I found it to be an entertaining show, and I'm really looking forward to next week in Atlanta.